at this, there's a lot of criticism around Arteta. We say he plays with the handbrake on. But listen, there's no problem with that. I've said for years, if he's going to win the league, he's going to win it like Mourinho. He's not going to win it like Pep. That's the way he's going to go about it. Who cares as long as you win? And I still believe they will win. So there's no big deal about the way Arteta goes about it. But what I would say is, Arsenal, and I've always felt this would stop them winning the Premier League, but I don't think it will this season. They don't have a genuine superstar at the top end of the pitch. They don't have someone who's going to do what Salah did last season, or what Haaland did for Manchester City, or what a Hazard did for Chelsea. They lack that player. And what's really interesting is, halfway through the season, or if you picked it right now, I picked team of the season so far. When have you ever seen a team at the top of the table who've been a top by 6 or 7 points, but if you were picking the best team in the Premier League so far, you wouldn't have one of their players in the front four? That is not normal. That would never happen. The best team in the league would always have at least one, maybe two players in the team of the season, and Arsenal don't have that right now. And that plays into the fact that they don't have a genuine superstar, as I said, at the top end of the pitch.
32 minutes to go, and they have scored a magnificent goal. That can happen, Man United. That can happen. It wasn't like they played them really off the park and it was a 1v1 with the goalkeeper. It was a great strike. That can happen. They could come back into the game, calm the game down, control the game with two changes. Now, Declan Rice had to play as a pivot, what is not his best position. You want to keep him high up. I think it was too much for me, you know?
I believe they will go on and win the league. I think they will. I think they'll overcome the nerves. There's no point in them coming in front of the camera and saying, no, we're not nervous, it's not about that. I was in that same position. People were always questioning that because they knew we had the squad to be able to win it. They knew we had the experience previously, but always come up short because Man United, the juggernauts of Man United, had that experience of doing it, just like Man City have. Man City have got the experience over them. And Gary's absolutely right what he says there. Pep Guardiola was saying he's smelling it now. You know, they could have been out of sight. If they was to go like 10, 12, 15 points ahead, they would win this league at a canter. But now it's edgy, and Pep knows. You get into March, and there's still, if Man City or whoever it is, or Aston Villa or whoever, are in touching distance, there's a great chance that the mentality of these group of players might just let them down because they've never been there and done it before, whereas his players have.
Even as guests here, we're putting a lot of pressure on Arsenal. I understand they want to win it, but they are 4 points clear. In terms of, we're saying, but we've just said, though, Man City have not been performing at the level. Villa, there or thereabouts. But other teams might slip up as well, you know?
Of course, yeah. or they might have had their slip-ups
going back
already.
to Roy's point, at the end of the day, at the end of the season, it's about winning the title. We was there. We was up against your mob, United. And we had this disbelief going up against you thinking, oh, they're going to do it again. And we had a few bad results. I remember one at Everton where Yaya Toure was AFCON. And inside the dressing room, we was thinking, we've got no chance. And you have a bad result, like the guy said, it's how you react from it. It's not like Man City have gone 4 points clear. Arsenal still have a 4-point gap.
So what if we're putting pressure on? We're not putting pressure on it. We're not
the question was that Arsenal is to win. Arteta's doing a good job. He's been up against Slot with Klopp's team, wonderful team, and he's up against Pep, one of the best managers. No, I'm just saying. Every game with Arsenal, they must win. No, but everyone else is going to trip up as well.
To be fair, I've predicted Arsenal will win the league, but I think the fact that they've drawn against Liverpool, drawn against Notts Forest, and lost against United is putting pressure on themselves. It's not us putting pressure on them. They've dropped basically in the last couple of weeks quite a few points. They've won 2 out of 9, so I don't think it's us putting pressure on them. I actually think Arsenal will win the league and they'll come through this. But it is right that there are questions asked right now because they've only won 2 out of 9 points against Liverpool, Forest and United, and I think questions will be asked. If they drop points at Leeds next week, further questions will be asked.
One of the reasons it's been so long that Arsenal didn't win the title. I think when you look at the majority of the players here, they want to win it so badly, and of course they're feeling the pressure and the expectation from the fan. And it's about how do you manage that expectation, and they all want to win it, I think.
So how do you manage that expectation?
I think it's to go back to basics. It's about how do you get to top of the table. You get to top of the table, that means you've been playing in the right way, you've been really positive and not changing the attitude. And we know that Arsenal has been a long, long time that didn't win the title. I think in the last couple of years, they managed to build this kind of experience. They bring quality players, and they have two good players in every position. So I think they have the squad to go and to win the title.
But that's the hard part, isn't it? The last bit is always the hardest bit.
Because they never did it. And I believe that the first time is always the most difficult one.
Patrick, can I ask you about that? Because when I first won a title, I had very experienced players who'd already won the title. And when you came to Arsenal, 98 will have been your first title. Yeah. But you had Tony Adams in the team, you had Nigel Winterburn lead. How important were those players in settling everybody down? Because the Arsenal players haven't got a Tony Adams or a Nigel Winterburn. How important were they to you?
Really, really important, especially when you're going through a difficult period. Because to win the title and to be playing well from the first to the last game of the season, it will never going to happen. It will have time and moment where you will lose a little bit of confidence and you're not playing well. So those kind of experiences are quite really important because they are the one who will keep the spirit higher and they're the one who will keep the togetherness together. And that is why, for me, they will be really important for Declan Rice to, because he's got the personality, he's an international player and he play with belief and he's got the strong personality on the field.
You obviously know Mikel Arteta and you've been a manager as well. I was thinking actually doing the podcast after him, what will he be saying now and what would he be doing tomorrow morning to try and reset everything? What do you think he will be doing?
I think first of all, what he will be doing is showing the table. You know, because you're still top of the league. So that means not everything is to throw away. Yeah. But at the same time, you have to analyze and to try to understand what did we do wrong to be losing points. And I think it's about making them understand how it's important to perform together as a team. But when you look at the performance of Arsenal's teams today, I think there is some key players who are not at their best. And that can be physical issues, that can be a lack of confidence. I don't think as a team they lost a lot, but I think the single players, individual players, not performing at that level to allow them to win.